can't eat, I cannot sleep, and I'm not the same anymore. No, no, I don't know what to do, 'cause all of me wants all of you. Do I stand alone at the shore? Now once I could turn away from everything I feel today, but now I wanna walk through your door, and I've got to love, body and soul, that you've got no doubt.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of nursing a headache, and basically listening to the usual people that I listen to that complain. I ain't gonna say no names, but you know who you listen to that complains all the time, always complaining. Unfortunately, when you got a headache, you think that that's soothing to your ears to hear some grown ass man complaining, or listen to some grown ass woman complaining about life. But unfortunately, as the title of this video is going to be, which is failure to launch. Unfortunately, it's a couple things that you got to do, and it's obviously these people have, even their fans or subscribers have commented on their videos and said, I mean, why don't you just give up already, and just get a fucking, go get a pilot license and just learn how to fly the fuck on up out of here, man. Because the thing is that you only have a couple choices, right? Definitely have the right to complain and everything like that. You could complain till you fucking go in a casket. Obviously, that's a right that you have. You can complain till you are blue in the face, and the consequences of that is obvious. And then you can make a life decision that you're gonna live your life. You're gonna try to just make a decision. And I'll say this again. I'll remind you guys again, right? I'll throw you a bone. You're trying to be perfect. You've been making videos for so many years, and you think you don't want to be a hypocrite because you don't want to make a decision and it be imperfect, meaning not perfect. You have probably most likely a fear of imperfection. And I get it, I get it. A lot of people that are religious have this, issue. You can call it a fear of imperfection, because a lot of people, let's just face it, a lot of religious people talk about one of the things I remember about religion, all religions, let's just say, whether it be Judaism, Islam, Christianity, they all do something very very similar to one another. They make fun of other people that are not like them. Even Jehovah's Witness, they call people that are not Jehovah's Witness worldly people. People that are not going to, quote unquote, reach paradise. Very similar to Islam. They're not going to reach paradise. If they pass on, they're not gonna reach paradise, because they didn't accept Islam. Christians, if they haven't accepted Christ as their Lord and Savior, they will go to hell, and be baptized in fire. I know just about all of these religious, main culprits, or main, three monotheistic religions, they have the same type of script. If you're not one of them, you're talked about and you're this and you're that. And the thing is that a lot of these people is just kind of like a gang, or it's not even so much even a gang. It's like, okay, even if I'm not doing well in life, and a lot of times people pick from their gang, right? If they're whatever their religious customs are, they pick somebody within their religious custom. But certainly not picking somebody outside of their custom and living their life, and just picking someone. Let's just say you're not religious, right? You don't have a religion. Certainly you can't just go, let's just say you talking rhetoric about single moms. Definitely don't want to be a hypocrite and go out and get a single mom pregnant and actually raise, have a family. Oh no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to actually, get in a relationship and then, have a divorce, because it's your fear of imperfection. You don't want to be a hypocrite. It's a human, I guess, notion to not want to be, what you actually talk about or discuss. I think a lot of that is what drives a lot of people from making choices and trying to actually go out and live their life. Like the thumbnail of this video, this is some type of, current couple in a relationship. They're married. They're embracing each other in a kitchen. I mean, believe it or not, I will say that, at one time or another, I actually launched. Even if I made my own fucked up decisions in life, and I, filed divorce or whatever, or actually a divorce was filed upon me. I mean, at one time or another, believe it or not, I was actually, I was fucking married, and, my ex-wife made me fucking meals and made me some fucking banana pudding and shit like that. I mean, I actually, even if it was fucked up, and trust me, it was fucked up, I still tried. I still had no fear to actually launch, as, I definitely complained, just like anybody else to a certain extent. I mean, I have my share of complaints that I've made, but at the end of the day, I also have lived my life. And I'm going to be honest with you. I live my life as a chess man, as a king. I'm not telling you everything I do in my life, but I'll tell you, I'm living my life. Whether I'm playing chess or not, I'm living my life just like I'm on the chessboard, and I definitely ain't complaining. I'll give you this. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm fucking playing the chessboard just like it is. If it's fucked up, I'm playing as best as I can, for my interests and for whatever it's worth, as far as what's on the chessboard. I'm taking advantage of things as I see fit, and I'm making moves accordingly. Now, I might be, dealing with whatever I'm dealing with. I mean, life is life. We all also have certain pieces that we're born with. We got a certain hand that we're dealt, and we deal our hand the best way we can. And I'm no different than that. I mean, obviously, if I was born into a family of a billionaire heiress or heir, I think things as far as money would be a little bit better. 100 millionaire or whatever fortune it is, can be attained. But most people are not born into that lifestyle. And definitely most black people are not born into any lifestyle like that. So that, short of just being a fantasy for most people, is just that. Um, it's just, that's just not how most people are grew up, or what they have to, fall back on. So a lot of what else is left is basically doing whatever you can to try to build up the momentum to get to wherever you want in life. And that's a slow process a lot of times. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have my perspectives as far as my take on what Dave Ramsey does as far as his philosophies and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, I am no different as far as my take on how things are. I mean, what Dave Ramsey talks a lot about is he kind of goes into getting out of debt and delaying your gratification, delaying your lifestyle so you can get out of debt. I'm not that much different as far as my millionaire savings plan approach. It really, if you really bought my book, if you really listen to me, it's really not that much different as far as, like, I'm not telling you to just say fuck life and just spend all of your money. I'm not necessarily following Dave Ramsey's baby steps. His philosophy on how you should pay debt and everything like that is way different than mine. It's not my plan involves a lot more leverage than actual, I would say, just being so thrift and so I would say just putting all of your money towards your debts and just kind of living like a miser off rice and beans and just throwing everything you can towards paying off debts. My philosophy is not that. It's more of a philosophy of basically leverage and actual gradual debt payoff according to how much you make in a certain sizable amount. For example, my system is, as far as my millionaire savings plan, is to start off with $1,000, very similar to the first step one of Dave Ramsey's, basically building an emergency fund. But, it's he goes right into, paying your debts off as well. Step two, start paying your debts off. Well, I mean, you should pay your debts off actually on step one. Should establish some type of debt snowball, which I recommend in my book, and that's part of my plan to just kind of just give things away. Yeah, to start right into paying a debt snowball and paying your debts off. But while you're establishing all of that, while you have $1,000 saved on step one of the millionaire savings plan, I recommend that you do however you're able to do it. And of course, once you save $1,000, give yourself a reward, and then go right into $2,000. Getting $2,000, whether it be saving to get $2,000, taking the $1,000 and buying something to flip it to make whatever you can make to get $2,000, and then doing the same thing once you get $2,000, getting the reward, flipping it for investing or whatever you can do, save it, hold it, and voila, get to step three, which is $4,000. And you see where I'm going with this. And it's like all the while you're holding what you have, thus building up momentum and also paying your debts off. Whereas Dave Ramsey is like, hold that $1,000, hold it, and then live on rice and beans and rice, pay off all the debt you got. All the debt, all of it. Give all them debts back pay everything you can to pay the debts off. And it's like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it works. I'm sure a lot of people are able to do that, and it's, they you know rave about his system and rave about Dave Ramsey. But I mean, the thing is that no, that's not part of my plan. And my plan consists of basically building your income, building your savings, and growing your savings, and paying your debt off. So I mean, it is possible. That's what you could do. It is a situation where I'm not gonna lie to you. It is a lot easier if you live in certain areas where the cost of living is low. In San Diego, this conversation is a lot more advanced. It's like an event. It's like playing a video game on hard. Okay. Um, if you live in San Diego, if you live in New York, you live in California, a lot of people in those areas, they understand, they're listening to somebody. It's kind of like, okay, do you live in the area where I live at? And it's like, no, you don't. So, your conversation is somebody that lives in the Rust Belt. Like, the Rust Belt is probably in the Midwest. That's where the Rust Belt pretty much kind of is. I think it's like from like Pennsylvania all the way to basically like Indiana, all through Indiana, Ohio, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? The Rust Belt is like one of the, really, to be honest, I've talked about the Rust Belt on my channel as far as real estate. A lot of people from New York, they move across the Rust Belt. That's how they make their money, because you might not be able to afford New York, but you can afford, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, pretty much, a lot of New Yorkers or people from Pennsylvania got priced out from New Yorkers, and people from New Jersey, basically speculating real estate and driving prices up higher because it's cheaper to invest in Pennsylvania than it is in New York. A lot of people move to New York. I mean, to Pennsylvania from New York. And the same thing with Ohio, with Michigan, and then even Indiana. I've said this before. I met a dude that was working on a house. He was from New York. The people that he worked with are from New York, that are investing in Gary, Indiana, believe it or not. Because the thing is that you can't find any real estate probably in New York for $100,000 in the New York area, but in Gary, Indiana, you can buy about like 5 or 6 properties for $100,000 right now. I mean, it's still, that's what the prices are for abandoned properties. About 15 grand. Now, when I moved in Gary, or I bought my first property in Gary in 2020, you could buy they had abandoned properties for $1,500, before the market spiked. But I say all of this to say, yes, realistically, working at Starbucks, trying to save your pennies and putting them together to try to make some money in Virginia, in New York, Miami, LA, even Atlanta, it's gonna be a challenge. I'm not gonna say everybody is able to move to the Rust Belt of the United States. I mean, you certainly have a better outcome if you live in a cheaper area. A lot of people moved anyway. Like, a lot of people from California moved to where? Las Vegas, moved to Texas, because they got priced out. Okay. A lot of people moved from Chicago to Indiana because it was cheaper. I mean, it just was what it was. Now, the thing is that things are changing because the prices are changing. But I just say all of that to say, yes, my perspective of what I'm saying it could work in the Midwest. I've seen people do it. I've done it myself. Now you do need to kind of get into fields to make more money. If you starting off working in Starbucks, yeah, you can move up. I have my IT courses. I mean, other people have IT courses. I mean, you certainly could go on YouTube and try to. They have courses and free courses to learn coding. I mean, it's a lot of different free courses and stuff you could take to get into IT. But you do have to make a higher income. And I ain't gonna lie, my savings plan is better the more higher income you have, because the more money you have access to, the more possibilities there are to make more money. And I've said that in my book. I mean, it's just realistic. I mean, the thing is that I'm coming from a perspective of somebody that lives in the Rust Belt, that the cost of living is very, very low compared to other areas. Now, it's not low as Mississippi or Louisiana, where you can get a move-in ready house for probably less than 30 grand or 40 grand. But I mean, you can get a move-in ready house for less than 100 grand. I mean, that's the reality. Even in Chicago, the prices are high, and you could still work your way up from a situation where let's say you make about $15 an hour. If you have a situation where you do have someone also, I will say this. You will need the whole like working at Starbucks type of thing, or a low wage job type of situation. You will need to live with family and be able to save your money. Trying to if you own some, you gotta live, you gotta pay all your bills, which a lot of people do. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's gonna be a struggle. I'm speaking from a perspective of somebody that does have family as well. I did at one time when I was struggling. I was living with my sister. I was living with a family member. So, I just got to be, I got to keep it real from a perspective of realistically, if you don't make a certain amount of money, you got to pull yourself up, whether it be from a divorce or whatever the situation is. You will do need to make it out of that kind of low wage situation. It does help if you can live with family and save your money that you do make. I mean, I'm talking about you're able to save most of it, if not half of it, to kind of work your way to where you have some savings to work with, so you can make get a position that pays higher, or transition into a different career set. So I will say from those couple perspectives, that's what I'm talking about. But even if you live with family and you're working, let's just say at Subway, you only making $15 an hour, and you in those areas in the country, New York and everything. I'm not saying you should just give up and just totally give up. You might have to move to Pennsylvania. I'm not gonna lie to you. Pennsylvania might be calling you. I mean, there's so many people that probably, getting high on Kensington Street or whatever. They might need somebody that ain't a drug addict just to fucking, work somewhere temporarily. You might be able to move to management. If you work at Subway and you making $15 an hour, you just making sandwiches and you're just a regular, employee, you can be an assistant manager and make $18 an hour. I mean, you gotta start somewhere. And it's you gotta look at it from a perspective of, right now, the only thing that you do have is time. From that time, whatever money you have, you need to save it towards your future. You have to work, wherever you are, You have to try to build up momentum, however hard it is, and then keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is possible. You're in the richest country, one of the richest countries in the world. If it was a place to do it, this is where you can do it. Easier than other countries. It's almost impossible to do it in other countries. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that, yeah, you got a lot of people that are teaching like self-defeat or just is no hope whatsoever. It is a lot of hope and it is a lot of possibilities, but you got to ask yourself, and I kind of go back to what I was mentioning before. A lot of times, like I said, a lot of these like people that just, have these channels where they continuously complain and they're complaining by also putting their life on hold. They don't have if anything, like I said, you got a couple options. If you don't like the certain situation here, you have the option most likely to go overseas to another part of the fucking world, the planet, and try to make something of that. Those are the main two options usually that you have. And the other option, the option is to complain. I guess that's, better than fucking offing yourself, is just complain every day. Just complain and just build up some type of trauma bonding, situation. I mean, usually that it's I guess it's a kind of a limit to that. I guess you could make some money doing that to a certain extent. I mean, I don't know how much you could make, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's really self-sustaining. I don't know. I mean, but maybe it is to a certain extent. But I will say what's not self-sustaining is that your life is just passing you by while you're complaining. You don't have no kids. You haven't even tried because you're looking for perfection. The little mangy little regular chick that just looks like maybe she's a 4 and might be pudgy. You overlooking her because you, in your mind, you supposed to get, a fine, ex cheerleader Vogue model because you got a YouTube channel and 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I don't know. Like you think you're some like mini celebrity that's supposed to get this hot chick, and you're just really just a regular dude. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that a lot of times, these guys. The one thing that I say that I see that they have in common is a lot of these guys have a failure to launch, and I believe one of the main reasons why these individuals have that failure to launch is they don't want to launch and actually crash out. A lot of us, I mean, a lot of the people that's in the manosphere that, have children, have been married or whatever, the commonality that we do have is that, yes, some of us, a lot of us have crashed out. Some of us have, active child support cases that we've documented about or talked about or complained about. Some of us, have different arrangements. Some of us have situations where we co-parent okay. Some people complain about it. Some people are going through absolute hell and nightmares, and they're dealing with court cases because they, can't co-parent with their, children's mother. But the thing is that I will say that a lot of things you might be overhyped or you might over sensationalize in your head that because these people fucked up, you don't want to be like them, and it's just so horrific to, make a mistake in life. At the end of the day, your kids are not a mistake. When I go pick my daughters up, man, I usually have a good time. They have a blast. They pretty much young. They just want toys and constant fun as much as possible. and some snacks and something to eat. You know, they pretty much eat like birds, so really don't need that much. I mean, it's really not, you know, it's not bad. I'm not even advocating being a single dad or, you know, having a fucked up relationship just so you can get kids. But if you did fuck up, I mean, it's okay. Your kids will still be fine. If you fucking ask them, damn, would you want to have never been born? And I just, you know, because I didn't work it out with your mom, or you want to be born and then me and your mom are not apart, you know, or apart from each other. I mean, obviously they want to live their life. They want to eat candy, fucking drink soda and juice and live life and be grand as possible. They don't want to, you know, they don't care about that shit, you know. When they get older, they gonna realize, okay, you know, this is what it was, and yeah, mommy's a motherfucking, you know, problem, and, you know, she's who she is, but I still love her. But the thing is that you being so, you know, perfect or trying to make a perfect decision, you might never have that perfect decision. You might come across that, quote unquote, in the manosphere, whatever is, you know, the Nawalt, the perfect woman, you know, the Ruth or the whatever, you know, in the Bible or whatever. But the thing is that most likely that's just something that's in your head, that just some perfect woman is gonna come along, or till you get that perfect woman because you have a fear of failure. A lot of you guys don't nobody even know who you are. You have an avatar, you have some type of fake made up name. So you fearing making the decision or having some type of failure to launch, in your narcissistic head, you think you're some type of celebrity. You're not. Don't nobody even know who the fuck you are. Nobody can't find you. If they tried to find, if you died tomorrow, they will be calling you by your channel name. They don't even know who the fuck your name is. They don't know where you work. I mean, some of you guys are really good. You've never been doxxed. The Grandmaster Troll, he ain't found who you were. All you have is a voice box, and they don't know who the fuck you are. Like, some of you guys that's never been doxxed or whatever, you know, they don't really know who the hell you are. Some of them, yeah, Grandmaster Troll, he got you. He found out who you were. I mean, whatever. I mean, you got to give the motherfucker some credit. I mean, he does live with his mom too, but and he definitely need the millionaire savings plan like a motherfucker. But the thing is that yeah, a lot of, and he's a failure to launch as well, you know. But the thing is that yeah, a lot of you guys, man, I think you just, you know, looking for perfection. You know, I can't say that, you know, life is going to always be perfect. Just like you complain about stuff. Yeah, life ain't going to necessarily always navigate the way you want it to navigate. I mean, that's life, you know. I mean, you know, obviously if I have a headache and I hear you complaining again, it's definitely not going to make it better. I guess sometimes when I don't have a headache, it's you know, I really like listening to a lot of y'all complaints. I ain't going to lie. Like, it is kind of entertaining, but I ain't going to lie. In the back of my mind, I'd be like, God damn, you know, this motherfucker, just another complaint video. You know, I mean, shit. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, if you do start a family, you probably gonna hang YouTube up or some shit. I don't know. Maybe you probably, you know, be so busy, you gotta live your life and shit. Like, you probably have to, I don't know what the fuck would happen, but, you know, if you, to a certain extent, man, you gotta go out here and bust some nuts and, you know, see what comes of it. Like, man, plant some seeds or something. See if it, you know, just imagine, right? I'm gonna leave y'all with this, man. And I know I've been all over the place, but my point was basically that it is possible, even with the whole boomer economy or whatever the fuck, you know, with the problems and issues in life, you can't go from rags to riches. People have done it, you know. So many people have done that shit. It's crazy. White, black, Asian, in between have took whatever little coins they've had and crumbs they had and made a crumb cake and made money, with the little money that they had. Now, it's a lot of people that didn't make it, and it is rough. But the thing is this what I'll say. So imagine a farmer that just complained and never planted seeds. He just complained all day, and he just never planted seeds. Well, that farmer, the next harvest, where everybody's fucking, planting seeds, and then their harvest is coming, that fucking farmer fucking die of famine, because he ain't planting no goddamn seeds for no harvest. End the story. Good night.